Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Harry and I'm a third year paramedic student studying at Victoria University in Australia. I'm also undergoing the medical application process to hopefully get accepted next year, and I actually submitted my application today, believe it or not. So pretty exciting. Woo! Fingers crossed, and hopefully come September, early September, I get an interview offer and things go well from there. Cool. So what I'm really here to talk about today is, as most of you watching this video will probably be aware, is that Gamsat results actually came out last week. I think it was last week or the week before that. Anyway, they came out a week or 2 weeks ago. But what I really want to talk about is our results. And I'm going to talk to you about my results, how I went, kind of my thoughts, feelings, posting, seeing my results, whether I was happy or disappointed with them. And I think it's important to actually talk about it because everyone feels like I feel that everyone can feel like there's such a big weight and this big burden on their chest and on their shoulders about, all this pressure revolving around the results on this one test. And I think it's really, really important for our mental health and just for the test and the application process in general to kind of talk about it openly and to hopefully break down some of the pressure that we feel that this test essentially has over our lives. So first off, I want to give you guys my results. I'm going to show you exactly what I got in all of my sections and pretty much just talk about how I felt. So initially I was actually pretty upset. Oh, not upset, but I was a little disappointed with myself when I first received it. So I actually received a 59. Oh no, sorry, that was my last one. I received a 58 this sitting, which I was a little disappointed about. I got a 54 in section 1, a 64 in section 2, and a 57 in section 3. And honestly, I was probably expecting a little bit more than that. Mainly because this sitting, as opposed to my last sitting where I was pretty unprepared and I only studied for maybe a month and a half, this sitting I studied really meticulously for 2 or 3 months on end. So I was really, really hoping to get a better mark than 58, but oh well, is what it is. I've seen on the internet, all over the shop, everyone always says it's really hard to improve your second time around sitting the test. And I think that's been pretty accurate from actually sitting it a second time and seeing my results. And I think it actually just speaks volumes on how consistent the test actually is. So I actually feel totally unfazed by it whatsoever. Even just a couple hours after getting that result, I was not going to let it negatively impact my day and my subsequent days afterwards. So I just, in one ear, out the other, and I just stopped thinking about it entirely. And I think it's important in situations like this where we don't necessarily meet the expectations in our head, that it's important to actually take a leaf out of the Stoics book in situations like these and recognize that it's actually the narrative we tell ourselves about the event that determines how we feel. So for example, say you're driving to work one morning and the car in front of you doesn't indicate and just swerves right in front of you in the lane and actually cuts you off. So that knee-jerk reaction is to get angry, beep the horn, yell out the window, all of that rubbish, because you can't believe how that person has been so self-absorbed to actually cut off and not even recognize and realize that you were there. So that then puts you in a bad mood. You then go to work and you'll complain to the people at work, oh my God, you would not believe what just happened to me on the ride here. Then at lunchtime, you meet someone at work you haven't seen before, or you hadn't seen earlier that day, so you'll complain to them, oh, you won't believe what happened today this morning. And then at the end of work, you finish up, hop in your car, as you're driving back home, that exact same road, what happens? You go, oh, remember that moron that swerved in front of me on the way to work? Oh, honestly, bad mood again. You get home, you see your wife, you got your husband, housemate, whatever, and what do? You go, oh, you would not believe what happened to me when on the way to work today. This person just swerved right. You get the picture. Bad mood. And that bad mood facilitates itself into your day and becomes the main portion and content that you focus on throughout the whole day, which just makes you feel like absolute rubbish. So do you see how this tiny little mishap that really had absolutely nothing to do with you whatsoever was able to actually change your point of view and your outlook for the day consistently from when you went to work to all the way to when you got home? And so this is where Stoicism actually comes into play. It's through recognizing that outside of this initial knee-jerk emotional response, that you simply accept and recognize that what happened has happened, and no matter what I do or how I feel or what I think about it, the event will not change, and that it cannot be altered at all. So in using this technique, why not actually look at the event that happened in a positive light? Try and reframe your thinking, actually shift the focus and the perspective so that when that happens again, instead of having that overall day-long reaction of, oh, I can't believe they did this, actually look at it and go, oh wow, thank God they didn't hit the front of my car. Or, think about it from their perspective, and maybe it's like, oh, maybe they're really busy or they're stressed and they just didn't think about it. But recognizing that it was an unnatural mistake that had nothing to do with you and they didn't do it intentionally actually allows you to reframe your method of thinking so that you can maintain your happiness levels throughout the day and not succumb to sadness. There's a good book on that actually called Happy by Derren. I highly recommend that you all read it. I'll link it down below. Anyway, I can honestly talk about this stuff for hours, but we're kind of getting off topic. So I'll get back onto the point of the video right about now. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I simply acknowledged that what I got was what I got, and that, yeah, there's no need to dwell on it. And I think you guys should do that too. I don't really think it's worth your time to sit there and dwell on a mark or a result that you've got when there's nothing you can do to change it. It'll just negatively affect your day for the days to come. If you simply look at it and accept it for what it is, take a deep breath and realize that, hey, I've done my absolute best here. There's nothing more I could have done. I gave it my all. Then that positive affirmation will be enough to rid you of those lingering feelings of self-doubt and disappointment, and you'll be able to just move on with your day carefree. As with most things I talk about in this channel, these skills are actually applicable outside of medicine and outside of the Gamsat themselves. They're applicable in everyday life. So I encourage you all to keep a track of this in the back of your mind throughout your days and see if you can use it and recall upon it to increase your overall well-being. Anyway, I think I've gone off topic again. I'm actually pretty fortunate in the fact that I do have my September sitting of 59 to fall back on, and being that I am a heavy rural applicant, I feel like I have enough of an ability to kind of scrape through the cracks and just jump in. I was hoping to get maybe like a 62 or a 63 this sitting, really just to kind of make me feel a little bit more confident and a little bit more comfortable in where I was sitting in the application process. So as a 59 in September last year got me in the top 45 percentile, I was pretty happy with that, but I would have needed this time round a 61 minimum to beat that, because this time round the curve actually shifted to the left a little bit. So getting a 60 in this sitting would have only equaled my 45 percentile from September. So I would have had to get at least a 61 or a 62 to actually, at the very least, beat my last sitting. Which, even now, if I had have got a 61 to 62, I still wouldn't be feeling that confident and that comfortable. I'd probably just be feeling pretty much the same as how I am now. I'm not really sure as to why the curve moved left this time. I assume it's just because more people did well in the Gamsat and maybe more people sat it who did well. And as my overall performance in my sections, maybe I probably just didn't bring my A game and wasn't as on top of things as I thought I was. I do remember struggling with section 3 though, but I feel as though that's pretty standard for me. And funnily enough, that was actually the section that I got the 1% or the 1 point increase on, so go figure. Overall, for my application process, I'm not changing my preferences at all. I think it's pretty important to select preferences based on where you actually want to go and not trying to game the system, because personally, I just don't think it will work very well. If you didn't get the results that you were looking for this time around, please don't stress, relax, accept it. Use this time to try and think and recognize where you went wrong and perhaps what you can improve on for next time. Feel free to check out my other videos on effectively studying for the Gamsat, as well as effective, study techniques, and I think they'll be up there or there. I'm still not sure which corner it'll go up to. Anyway, at the end of the day, don't hold this result over you. It won't make you feel any better, and it won't change your result on the day. Instead, use this time to focus on the future. Use this time to continue to challenge yourself, and at the very least, be proud that you had the faith in yourself to actually sit the test. Because a lot of people don't sit the test purely because they don't have enough faith in themselves. Honestly, if you're proud of anything, be proud of the courage that you had to bet on yourself and actually give it a go. If you continue with this same attitude, I am positive that you will get into medicine. And not only with medicine, but you will also achieve all goals that you desire in your life. Thanks for watching all. If you enjoyed the video, I'm glad. And make sure to like and subscribe down the bottom so you don't miss when I upload my next video. Leave a comment down below as well on how you went with your Gamsat results this year. You don't have to leave your score down or anything, but maybe just speak about how your preferences changed or how you felt about getting your results, and if this has affected your application at all. Either way, I think it's important to keep this discussion going and the conversation open. That way, if somebody's going through the comments sees something that you've written, it could inspire them, or it could remind somebody that, believe it or not, we're all in this process together. We're all in the same boat and we're all rowing to that same destination, so we may as well help each other. Until next time, guys. See ya.